I guess first we can start off with Barca's recent struggles
Mm-hmm.
because like I mentioned to you, and I don't know about you, but for me, based on my assessment, I've noticed that Barca have been struggling since the Real Sociedad game.
Right.
For me, that's when I kind of saw Barca struggling, leading up to Girona, from Real Sociedad to PSG, right, to Sevilla, and now to Girona. So 4 games in a row. Okay, so we could talk about that. We could talk about maybe Barca's injuries,
Mm-hmm.
right? We can also talk about Flick's second season.
Yeah.
Comparing that to Xavi's second season. What's the difference? Is maybe Flick going through the same thing that Xavi went through in his second season?
In terms of injuries, right?
Yes, in terms of injuries and just in terms of maybe players just change, maybe their efforts or whatnot, because Flick also had to go ahead and point that out to the players.
Yeah,
they
that's
have to
true.
give 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can also talk about form. Heading to the Clásico. Of course, who's in better form? Is Barcelona or Real Madrid in better form? Are they about the same? We can also talk about Real Madrid, how they're heading into the Clásico, right? And yeah, and then if you want to talk about anything else, you can chime in. And
I think we can also talk about what I wanted to talk about too. If you want, is certain players' forms.
Yeah, that's true.
Like for example, Lamine Yamal, and we'll leave it at there. Lamine Yamal and other players.
Yeah, like if certain players maybe are not at 100% or they're not giving
Yeah.
100% compared to maybe how they
Last
were last
season,
season.
yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely talk
But
about that. We could talk about that in Barca's recent struggles. But I want to start off with Barca's struggles because I do think that
Recent form right now.
Yeah, I don't want to call it a crisis.
No,
I don't want to call it that Barca are doing bad or doing horrible, but there are certain red flags that are starting to come up, and for me, like I'm telling you, obviously, we can start off with this, right? Flick was the one who pointed it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said that egos kill the team, that they need to play and need to give 100% like they were last season. So he was the first one to point it out, and this was in the second game. I believe so, if I'm not mistaken. So, Barcelona's recent form, in my opinion, since Real Sociedad, right? Do you think it has anything to do with maybe player fatigue, injuries, or do you think it has to do that maybe in the second season, the Barca players maybe they're just not giving 100% like they were last season, and the Flick's first season?
I think that,
or could it be maybe just a mixture of all?
I think it's a little bit of mixture of all, but I also believe that it's something of that maybe the players have also gotten too comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Flick meant. You get me? And the reason why I say this, dude, is because I remember in the first game that they played this season, I remember I texted you and I said, "Damn, dude, I don't like Barcelona's defense at all. It was very sluggish, right? Sloppy." And then I get it. It was in transition, and they had to kind of, Flick had to kind of rediscover, what players he was going to choose for his defense because Inigo Martinez had left the club. You get me?
Yeah, last minute.
So and last minute, right? But I also think that the players have gotten comfortable, and I think that's the reason why even Flick himself called them out, like you mentioned, in the second game, third game of the season, whatever it was, he called them out and he said that the players, egos killed the game, and because he also mentioned, he kind of elaborated on that, and he said that pretty much last season what players were doing is they weren't really caring about individuals' goals or stuff like that, etc. But it's like they were just running for the team.
Yeah.
You get me? And I think that, in my opinion, I don't know if you agree with this, but, and I'm going to say this real quick and I'll let you answer, right? But in my opinion, I think one of the biggest players who maybe Flick directed that message to is Lamine Yamal.
Oh yeah, I think so, bro. I think that message that he sent was to Lamine Yamal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was to him because there's this season right here is Lamine Yamal's first season as an adult.
Mm-hmm. And that's number 10 too.
As a star,
Mm-hmm.
as a football star. Last season was more where he was.
It was still okay.
Yes, he was cementing himself as that future star, but this season is his first season, real season, where his responsibilities have increased, right? And expectations have increased as well. Because he's carrying the number 10. He's under a new contract. He's the team's
breakout star, pretty much.
He's the team's star player.
Yeah.
He's the
Would you consider him the team's star player, bro? Or would you put Pedri there?
No, I would put him, bro, because I think a lot of people, because we know Pedri to us, well, Pedri because well, for us Barca fans, Pedri has been a Barca for a while already. He was there on the Messi. He got this jersey right here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, so Pedri has been a Barca.
But let me ask you why. I wanna ask you why. I wanna tell you why I asked that question to you, right? And I'm gonna let you answer. The reason why I tell you that is because when Barcelona plays, right, and Lamine Yamal is not there, do you think Barcelona still wins? But when Pedri doesn't play, do you think Barcelona is a whole different team?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think Pedri. If Pedri's not there, bro, Barca fall apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pedri combines very well the attack with the defense. The way he's so effective, and you can see it. I think we saw last season when Pedri was out for like a couple of weeks, and we saw Barca's dip come down a lot. So yeah, in my opinion, I still think that Pedri is more important to Barca than Lamine Yamal is right now. But I think Lamine Yamal is our star player for Barca right now. And the reason why I don't say Pedri, bro, because when Pedri got there, unfortunately, Messi was still there.
Yeah.
So Messi was the star player when Pedri got there. Now, had Pedri got in there and Messi was not there, then it would probably be a different story for Pedri, in my opinion. So that's why I think that for right now, because Pedri already has been there at Barca for like maybe 4 or 5 years, right? So maybe people are not looking at Pedri like, oh, let's see what Pedri has to do, But now we're looking at Lamine Yamal like, let's see what Lamine Yamal does.
You think the pressure's more on Lamine Yamal right now?
I think so, yeah. I think Pedri's already a set player. Like, we don't expect more for Pedri. Pedri has already given what he has given to Barca. He's going to continue giving that. We already know that. But Lamine Yamal, he's going through that. I think right now he's going through that transition where is he going to be that star player for Barca or not?
Yeah.
Because there's still a high chance that he may not be.
Yeah, that's true.
He can fall off. Injuries, distractions, whatever it may be, and he can fall off.
And let's go ahead and say, because that's something that we wanted to talk about in the list anyways, right?
Yeah.
Since we're in the Lamine Yamal subject already, let's kind of like dip into that, right?
Yeah.
Just real quick. The injuries and distractions outside can happen, and I honestly believe that that's two things that Lamine Yamal is already experiencing, right?
Yeah.
This whole Nicole girlfriend that he has.
There's already been like 3 girlfriends now.
Yeah. That, the media's all up on it, and then the injury, right? The injury that he suffered, he kind of had. He hasn't been able to come back at full potential. He's been struggling with that injury.
Yeah, he has been struggling with that injury. Ever since that injury, he hasn't been 100%. And we saw it against PSG. I remember. I remember I told you, I was like, man, Lamine Yamal isn't. Well, you told me I don't like Lamine Yamal's game at all, and I told you I think it's because he's not 100% fit. And I think he wasn't 100% fit to play the second half for PSG. You can see it.
But I actually didn't even like Lamine Yamal's game against Girona, bro. Yesterday's game.
That's true. Yeah, against Girona too, he was just off.
I actually would have given. I would have given the opportunity to either Rooney or Tony, like he did. He did play Tony, but I would have given Rooney the opportunity from the beginning, bro.
Rooney came in and he was dangerous.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, maybe people won't agree with me on this, dude. But honestly, bro, like, look. Call me old school, call me old fashioned, whatever, dude. But I actually believe that when you are a star player at a big club like Barcelona, dude, I think that you have the responsibility to go ahead and take that serious, because there's a lot of people, bro, who want that opportunity, especially in the academy of Barcelona, who are just waiting for a downfall. Whatever. Everybody loves Lamine Yamal, but at the end of the day, dude, it's like, take it serious, you get me? I know that you're still a young kid, but guess what, dude? Unfortunately, that's those are certain things that you kind of have to give up when you want to become a star.
Yeah.
You get me? Because if not, I hate to say this, but I wouldn't want Lamine Yamal to be another reflection of Ronaldinho and Neymar, right? Two sick players, bro, but we both know that they could have given a lot more to Barcelona, bro.
Yeah, and Ronaldinho's as a good example. Ronaldinho, when he got up there, at Barcelona, the distractions is what basically killed his career, in my opinion, because he could have given a lot more had the distractions not been, unfortunately, his downfall. Because Ronaldinho, you can say that maybe he only had like 2 seasons.
Yeah, like
where he was like, at the top, and then after that he couldn't keep it there.
Right.
So Ansu Fati is another one with injuries, right?
Ansu Fati, I think, unfortunate for him.
But injuries,
injuries. But I think that Ansu Fati, I gave him look. Injuries for me, bro, is part of the game, right? I think that injuries is something that players can control. But when it comes to the distractions outside, I think that's something they can control. And I think that even the president of Barcelona needs to go ahead and say, "Hey, Lamine Yamal, you need to knock it off."
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
I wouldn't even go for the coach, and I'm not undermining Fleet, but what I'm saying is, like, sometimes you got to protect the coach as well, because you don't want the coach to kind of always be the bad guy, you get me?
Yeah.
And then maybe you kind of have a player who's going to take it off from the coach. I think that it's also the responsibility for the president to be like, hey, Lamine Yamal, look, at the end of the day, you are an employee, dude, because people forget, right? These star players that play for these clubs, you're technically an employee from a job.
Yeah.
So you have to follow certain rules, certain expectations, you get me? And I just, like I said, for me, call me old school, dude, but I just don't like when players, you know, they kind of bring their outside distractions into like the club, bro. Especially when you're at a big club and you have an opportunity of a lifetime.
And he's bringing a lot of
Negative attention.
a lot of attention.
Because even bringing her to the training camp, all that, it's just distractions, dude. You get me? You look at Kubarsi. Look how Kubarsi looks compared to Lamine Yamal, bro.
He's not
Is there
getting any
anything
attention.
is there anything about Kubarsi that people talk about?
And he's the same age.
Same age, literally. Just
Well, he's
different
17,
concept. He's 18.
Oh, he's same age. Yeah,
same age.
Yeah.
Different concept, bro. So it's like you have to be careful in Lamine Yamal, and I think that it's up to the president. It's up to like even the coach himself, even the dad. Forget about it, bro. You know, let's not even get to the topic.
Honestly,
of
the
the dad.
dad. Well, I mean,
I'm not
what a
even
bad example from the dad, bro.
Yeah,
the dad's
bro.
even worse.
Yeah, so let's not even talk about the dad. But unfortunately, like I said, I think that Lamine Yamal doesn't, and this is something that both you and I knew could happen, right? If Lamine Yamal isn't, we said that at the age of 15, I think this is the reason why it's so dangerous sometimes to give young players a big, you can say career, you know, advantage or whatever, you know, debut, because things like that can happen, bro. Distractions can happen.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see the unfortunately, you know, what happens when you give a young kid,
Mhm.
you know, all the attention, the money and the fame.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think Lamine Yamal is going through that period right now where he needs to learn how to handle it.
Yeah.
And let's see how he's able to handle it, if he's not or if he is. But what's important is the people whom he has around him. And unfortunately, his dad is not a good example.
Yeah.
Okay? And unfortunately, the women that he has around him are not. They're
Yeah.
just cougars, bro. They're they're predators.
He
the
needs to be
women,
really
the
careful,
women that he
bro.
has around him are predators. So, I thought that Xavi, in my opinion, was gonna be that one good mentor that he could have
I
had.
agree.
But Xavi's not there anymore, unfortunately. You know, so now, you know, Fleet came in. When Fleet came in, I think Lamine Yamal was already kind of started.
Yeah.
And he was already coming up, and it was hard not to start him, bro, because he was so important,
Yeah.
you know, for Fleet. But Xavi was bringing him up slowly. He was bringing him up slowly, and you know. But like I said, it's important whom he has around him, and hopefully, you know, let's hope, right, that maybe the people that he has around him can probably, you know, give him some good advice, and then hopefully he gets over the women and, you know, gets over that fame, and he goes over to the other side where he already has that, you know, say, okay,
Yeah.
cool, I already have that, you know, let me just focus on now. I want to go ahead and win the World Cup. I want to be a Ballon d'Or winner. I want to go ahead and be consistent. I want to score 30, 40 goals a season.
Right.
You know, let's hopefully he gets over that, and then he's like, you know what, let me focus on that, which is what Cristiano Ronaldo focused on, which is what Messi focused on.
Yeah. I think that's what separates the two great legends of the sports, bro, compared to everybody. That people just talk about like Messi and Ronaldo, like, oh yeah, they were both great, no, but they did it for 15 plus years.
And you know what, to be honest and to be fair, Haaland and Mbappe, they're doing that too, though.
Exactly, that's right.
They're not letting the distractions get to them. They're just focusing on scoring goals. And Mbappe too, bro. I mean, Mbappe has been a star since he was 18. 17,
Yeah,
18
he was at
years old.
Monaco.
17 or 18, and you know, he's already, what, 26?
Yeah, he's already like 25.
So it's already been close to 10 years where he's already been a star, has all the money and everything, you know, and he's still been, yeah, you know, we criticize him here though because we don't think that he was valued. I don't think that he was valued, at least at the value they were trying to make him be. They were trying to make him be like he was the next R9, which in my opinion he's not. But you got to give him credit though. Since 17 or 18, he's been at the level.
Yeah, Haaland and
Haaland too.
Vinicius Jr. too, bro.
Yeah, Vinicius Jr. too. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, Vinicius Jr. has his issues on the pitch and whatnot, but they've been keeping that level, that high level for a long time, which is what we want to see from Lamine Yamal.
Yeah.
We want to see him. Yes, okay, it's fine. Do whatever you're doing, do all that, but also produce on the pitch. Don't do what you did this past week with the helicopter thing, all the crap that was going on with the girl that he took to the training camp, and then you show up on the weekend against Girona, you don't do crap.
Yeah, because it's gonna
that's
give a lot of people to talk about.
Yeah,
it.
that's the problem, you know. And then now we're here talking about, well, we want more from Lamine Yamal. Okay, are we gonna see a good Lamine Yamal against Oriol Percaus?
Or even a Clásico.
Are we gonna see a good Lamine Yamal in a Clásico? You know, so that's when I think it can become a little dangerous, because if you're doing all that, but then again you're not producing on the pitch, and that's when you're probably gonna have the fans turn against you.
And given the fact that Fleek said what he said already, bro.
Yeah, what he
So,
said.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it's a very delicate subject for Lamine Yamal, and I think that it's very hard because, and I agree with you. Let's also not forget that he just came back from an injury, right?
Yeah,
But
that's why.
technically speaking, though,
That's why I told you that I give him a little bit of slack, but I think against Girona, we should have.
that should have been,
more.
yeah. I
we
know
should've
Fleek said that
seen
he's
more.
not ready for 90 minutes. He said that.
Oh, okay.
He said he wasn't ready for 90 minutes, but I also think that given the fact that, he had a game against PSG and then the international, break happened, he didn't go play, so he had, he was training, whatever. I didn't expect, I'm not saying I'm expecting Lamine Yamal to go ahead and, to score 3 goals, for example.
But he should be.
I think just there. So what I
like
want
last season.
no, what you know what I will go
At
as
that level, I would
right,
say.
but I will go as far as saying like, for example, what I expected from Lamine Yamal against Girona yesterday was a little piece of what he was doing against PSG for the first 10 to 15 minutes against PSG. That's it. At least for 45 minutes, where you can kind of see and tell, you know what? Yeah, he's not back, but whatever, he did that for 45 minutes. That's what I'm saying. You get me? I'm not saying that go ahead, score all these goals. No. But that's it. I think the Lamine Yamal is subject is pretty tricky, and let's see what happens with Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, dude. Let's see what happens, and with all that being said, Barca's recent struggles. I guess we can also point it out to, not only that maybe players are not giving 100% compared to how they were last season, but maybe injuries too. I think injuries have also not been good for Fleek, but let's not forget that Xavi went through that in the second season as well.
Yeah.
Xavi had a lot of injuries in the second season, and I remember that, I think, man, I forget how many players he had out.
I kind of have an idea.
I remember, right?
He had Ter Stegen. He had Ferran.
Okay.
He even had Ferran. He had Lewandowski.
Yeah.
He had Gavi out
De
with the
Jong.
ACL. He had De Jong when he
Pedri.
broke the ankle.
I remember he had Pedri and De Jong together out at the same
Yeah,
time.
Pedri out, right? Then he even had
Araujo.
Araujo injured, bro. You
Yeah.
get me? So, and that's
Valde too, I remember.
Valde, and he even had Koundé injured, bro.
Yeah, I remember at one point, Xavi in his second season, he had a lot of injuries.
And this is when me and you always talked about giving Xavi a break,
Yeah, and then I remember we even said but what are the damn freaking physios? What are they doing right there? Like, why is Barca having so many damn injuries? And now we're going. It's Flick's second season, and he's going through the same thing with injuries. Because he has a lot of injuries, and I want to say he's been having a lot of injuries since the beginning of the season.
Bad luck, dude. He's having
really bad luck with those injuries right
Yeah.
now. But like I was telling you, so just like Xavi, went through that, Flick is going through that as well right now. So, unfortunately, Flick is just gonna have to get used to it. And
it's something that happens, yeah.
it's something that happens. It happened to Ancelotti last season too, bro.
Yeah, right.
It just happens, and you kind of have to overcome it. And I think Flick hasn't been doing such a bad job either in trying to move pieces around. Putting some players, working with some players. For example, against Girona, bro, he put Araujo as a number 9.
Yeah.
And it worked
for
out.
him, yeah.
He busted an EA, bro.
He did, dude. Go all out.
All out, Araujo as number 9, and it worked out for him, bro.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that it's something that he needs to adapt to, and I think Flick is going to adapt to it. It's the beginning of the season. Let's not forget that it's only been a month and a half into the new season. So, we still have time, but we can both agree that injuries have also been a little bit of the cause of Barca's recent struggles, right? Since Real Sociedad.
Right, yeah.
Right. And then, but yeah, I guess we can go ahead and transition into, who's in better form probably right now, because the Clasico is coming up soon.
Next weekend.
But do you think that, do you think Barca and Real Madrid are both coming into, the Clasico, in the same form? Who do you think is in better form going into the Clasico?
Look, I think that both Real Madrid and Barcelona actually come into the Clasico not in their best form, right?
Yeah,
but if I have to pick who's coming in better, I think Real Madrid is slightly better than Barcelona form-wise right now, and I think a lot has to do with because of the injuries that Barcelona has right now.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid are coming. I want to say a little bit more confident.
Yeah.
I think if, for example, if the Clasico would have been after the Atletico Madrid slaughter, then that would have been a different case.
Oh yeah.
But I think I think people forgot about that already.
Well, let's see how let's see how Real Madrid does against Getafe. Hopefully they drop points, bro.
That's true. Yeah. So they're gonna play Getafe, and then they also play in the Champions League too. But yeah, we'll see. But we can both agree that maybe Real Madrid are coming a little bit more
At
better,
a better form.
better form than Barcelona right now.
But I think the
unfortunately,
pressure is more around Madrid.
that's true though, because that's true. Because you mentioned, right, the fifth game, right?
Yeah,
so
it'll be the fifth Clásico, and they're back at home. So they have to beat Barcelona.
yeah, and you know what though, dude? Unfortunately for me, I think that eventually Real Madrid are gonna have to win.
Yeah, of course they're gonna win.
So
at some point they're going to win.
At some point, Real Madrid are gonna win. So why not now? To be honest, bro, I think if Real Madrid win now, it's better because they're at home, right? They're coming in better. Barca having so many injuries, and Barca have not been good recently. So I think if they are gonna lose to Real Madrid, let it be now. I think better than later on during the season.
So you think that, let's say, given if we're speaking as a Clásico right now, right? I know it's next weekend, but we can also discuss, the players that might be there. I know right now we don't know, but let's say Rafinha is back, but obviously he's not going to be at 100%. Lewandowski is for sure, in my opinion, out. Joan Garcia is still
He's out.
He's out, right?
Yeah, he's out. Olmo's gonna be out.
Olmo's gonna be out. Do you think that
Gavi's out too?
Yeah, Gavi's out too.
I don't know about Ferran. I think Ferran will make it.
Ferran will make it.
Yeah, Lewandowski. You said Lewandowski, right?
Yeah,
He's gonna be out.
Yeah, Lewandowski's gonna be out. But I think it's gonna be like a tough game, bro. And I think that we have Olympiacos right during the week.
Yeah, but Real Madrid, we can talk about maybe later on. We'll make another video specifically. Before the Clásico.
Yeah, because I want to see what happens against Olympiacos.
Yeah, against Olympiacos, which is the next game that Barca have. That's the Champions League one, and of course, Barca are coming from a loss in the Champions League against PSG.
Yeah.
So this is the third game that they're having in the Champions League. They won the first one. This is the third one, right?
Yeah, no. I think the PSG was the first one, no?
No, they played one before that. They played
Newcastle. Yeah. The one Newcastle lost against PSG, and the third one right now against Olympiacos.
So this is the third game in the Champions League. The good thing is, with this Champions League format, is that it gives you the luxury of
losing a lot of games.
Look at PSG and Manchester City last season. Real Madrid too. They lost a lot of games last season.
But I don't think I would.
They still made it.
I don't think that. I get you, and that's good,
But with that being said, of course.
No. I'm only saying because and the only reason why I said that too is because let's not forget that the next game, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is Chelsea.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So it's like,
they have Chelsea coming in soon. So
and it's all about momentum too, bro. Like when Barcelona loses, kind of like drastically, like how they did against Sevilla, the momentum kind of goes down, bro.
It does, yeah. So obviously we don't want to see Barcelona lose or tie because that's not a good confidence heading into the Clásico.
I think maybe he's a fake Barcelona fan. He's probably a Real Madrid fan, guys. Imagine, bro, you take out your shirt and it's, oh, sweet! You start doing the Cristiano Ronaldo celebration. I'm just playing. But no. But yeah, I think that, it's all about momentum and Olympiacos. We have Olympiacos coming up on, I think, Tuesday, of course. What do you think, bro? It's at home.
I'm expecting Barca, bro, to honestly to give out a statement. But that's what I want. That's what I want.
Let me ask you something real quick.
Yeah.
Besides, what do you want? Is what are you looking to see? So yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you were saying. So yeah.
Yeah. So what I want, and what I'm expecting Barca is to give out a statement. The reason why, bro, is because lost against PSG.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, let's let it go a little bit before that. In my opinion, they struggled against the Real Sociedad, even though they won that game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They lost against PSG. Right. They got slaughtered against Sevilla.
Yeah.
They struggled against Girona.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm telling you, that's 4 games in a row. Olympiacos is the game before the Clásico.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm expecting Barca and what I want Barca to do is to give out a statement.
Okay.
Because if they give the same impression that they've been given so far, and the same impression they give against Girona, I don't think that a lot of fans are gonna go confident in going into the Clásico, bro. And I honestly would say that going into the Clásico, a lot of Barca fans are probably gonna expect a loss.
Yeah.
So I want Barca to give out a statement, bro, and because sooner or later they have to give out a statement. They have to score. They have to win a game convincingly, even though they haven't won one. I want to say against Newcastle was the one that I say they won that game convincingly and they played really good.
I think the first half of the PSG as well, and then after that,
the first half of the PSG maybe as well. And after that, it's just been like
downhill for Barcelona.
So that's what I'm expecting, and that's what I would want. I would want Lamine Yamal to step up more, heading into the Clásico, right, and to give out a good game. But I cannot say that confidently because looking at Barca's most recent form, I don't think that they're gonna actually be able to do that.
Yeah.
I would want them to do that. That's what I'm expecting them to do, especially in a game before the Clásico. But I don't think that they're gonna be able to, bro. Because I honestly think that Barca right now, with the defense, they just leave way too many open gaps in the defense, bro.
Okay, so
Way too many open gaps. And, like I mentioned to you earlier, a lot of teams now and coaches, they know how Barca play now.
Yeah, you were going to say that, yeah.
This season is no longer a surprise. This season is no longer, well, let's see how they do against us. This season is we already know what they're capable of doing. We already know what they can do. Let's go ahead and figure out a way how we can combat that. So, it's a whole different scenario, a whole different game for Barca. This season, they no longer are the surprise of the season. Now they have to kind of, it's like chess, right? The teams already know what they're gonna do, so they're gonna make their moves. Now Barca have to figure out a way to counter those moves.
Yeah. That's true.
So yeah, my opinion, bro. I'm expecting Barca, and I would want Barca to give out a strong statement before the Clásico. But I don't say confidently that they are gonna be able to do that.
You think they struggle?
I think that they're gonna struggle. I think that maybe we see a good 30 minutes.
Okay.
But I think we're gonna see the same thing that we saw against Girona, bro. In my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. I'm not too confident of saying that Barcelona is going to go out there and they're going to play great football against Olympiacos. I think they're going to kind of struggle, and I think it kind of sucks, especially given the fact that, like how we both been saying, the Clásico is the following the weekend, and on the weekend, of course, the 26th. And I think that I can see Barcelona struggling. I can see them winning though, maybe by like a very slight margin. Yeah. I don't see Barcelona losing, if I'm honest with you, bro.
Me too.
I can see a draw. I see a draw, or I see Barcelona winning by a small margin of like maybe 1 or 2 goals.
Yeah, same here. I see a draw or a labored win.
Labored win, yeah.
That's sort of what I see, bro. Because that's just my assessment based on what I've seen Barca in the past. Like I said, since the Real Sociedad, in my opinion.
So now let me ask you, lineups. Given Barcelona's players right now, who's available? Let's assume that the same players against Girona are going to be available. What is your lineup, dude? Because let's also not forget that Flick took out Pedri and Lamine Yamal around the 60th, 70th minute against Girona. So for you, I mean, for recent forms, bro, of players, who do you put against Olympiacos? And let me also elaborate on that. Let me also ask you another question. Did you like Balde's return form against Girona? I know he's kind of been coming back, giving us a little bit of slight minutes, but this is the first game that he started. Did you like his form? Who will you kind of switch around? Lineups, give me your thoughts. Who will you play?
Yeah, to be honest, well, goalkeeper we're gonna have Tech because Joan Garcia's out.
Yeah.
So, I texted you and I told you this when I was watching the game against Girona that unfortunately for Barca, the fullbacks have not been effective at all. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, well, against Girona at least, they haven't been effective. To me, Koundé was losing so many balls.
Wow, I think this is one of the worst Koundé games that I've seen, bro.
I mean, that guy had a horrible game. And on top of that, he wasn't producing anything on the final third going up. Balde, to me, bro, was not producing anything going up either, and he was leaving a lot of open gaps in defense. So I don't think Barca's fullbacks are in top form right now. So, this is something that we talked about last season too, where I told you, hey, why doesn't he try Araujo as right back?
Mm-hmm.
I honestly
Xavi did.
Yeah, Xavi did. I honestly would try Araujo as right back. That's just one thing that I would throw out there. You try him as a number 9, try him as a right back, bro.
Mm-hmm. And he knows what he can do as a right back because Xavi tried him as a right back.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that, Xavi had Araujo playing against Vinicius Junior. Right?
Yeah, as right back. But with that being said, I think I would like to see Flick start Eddie Garcia as right back.
So this game right now?
Yes.
Okay.
I will go ahead and start Eddie Garcia as right back, and then if I need Koundé to come in, I will have him come in from the bench.
Do you think that kind of destroys Koundé's confidence?
I don't know if it does, but I think that kind of gives Koundé a statement. Like, bro, you had a bad game.
But would you want to give him that statement leading into the Clásico?
I would.
Yeah?
I would, so I can have him step up going into the Clásico, bro.
Okay.
Because if now you make him think that he had an alright game, that it's okay, you give him a pat in the back.
Okay.
Now, if I were, I'm not the coach, right? But I think I will start Eddie Garcia as right back. Because I did not like Koundé's game at all.
Me either.
I didn't like it at all, bro. And honestly, or if not, if you start Koundé against Olympiacos, take him off if he's doing the same by the 60th minute.
And then, since we're on the subject about Koundé, let's also not forget that against PSG, he didn't have the best game either.
He didn't have the best
He got dropped by that 17, 18-year-old kid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Koundé's already been, there's been a couple of games already where he's been like,
and it's surprising because we both know what Koundé can do.
Yeah, we know what he can do. Yeah. So,
So you'll give him a little slap in the back.
I would, bro. I would start Eric Garcia as right back. I guess
Okay.
only if that goes. I will put him on the bench, okay? And if I do start him, and if he's doing the same, I will take him off by the 60th minute, 50th, 60th minute, and put Eric Garcia as right back,
Okay.
okay? Has center backs, I will start Kubarsi, and I would like to go ahead and start Christensen. I think Christensen, honestly, bro, he deserves to start. He hasn't been doing too bad when he comes in. I will go ahead and have him start because I think Eric Garcia started against Girona, right?
Yeah.
So I will have Christensen start, okay? And then as left back, I would start Balde as left back, but if Balde is also not doing good, just like Conte, I will take him off and put Gerard Martin.
Do you think Gerard Martin deserves to be playing starting, bro, this game?
It's because the thing about it, bro, is that I think as long as Balde is fit, I think Balde is Fleek starting left back. That's what I think,
But,
unfortunately.
okay, but do you think it should be?
I don't think so, because I think Balde has not been doing good either. I think
Balde has been struggling since like the last 2 seasons, bro.
And honestly, bro, like I wouldn't be surprised if he starts Gerard Martin as left back against Olympiacos.
Me either.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I also wouldn't be surprised because he tried it in the preseason. If Fleek decides to put Gerard Martin as the left center back with Kubarsi and then Balde as well.
Yeah, because you keep saying that, and it's true, dude. You always pointed out that he did try Gerard Martin as a left center back, and then why not put him? But since I know we're gonna move up to the middle, right? Because you're right now we're in the defense. Since you are on the subject against the for the defense, right on the defense, let me ask you a question, dude. Fleek likes the more controlled defense, correct? Center backs. Some people that can come up with the ball.
Yeah. I think he likes center backs. I like to come out playing with the ball and are confident with the ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think this would be the perfect time, bro, to play Koundé as a center back again? Because
you know what? To be honest, dude.
I mean, I'm not saying this game. I'm saying this season overall. Whenever it happens, whether it could be a slider-like game, I mean, let's not forget that Koundé's original position for Sevilla when he came from Sevilla was center back.
But you know what, though, bro? I think.
And then you put Araujo as right back or Eddie Garcia as right back. Would you do that or no?
I don't think I would put Conte as center back, bro.
No?
No, because that guy, he's not that good with the ball.
I think he's good with the ball, bro.
You think so?
Yeah. To play right back at Barcelona, bro, you have to be really good with the ball.
Maybe.
Given and I'm not going based off on like the games.
But he did struggle in the Xavi a lot as a center back, though. I remember that.
He did, I think he did, but I don't think he was also that bad.
But he hasn't been doing it on the fleet though. So
he has, and that's what I'm saying. You know,
I
mean, think about it. A lot of players did kind of struggle against, like Rafinha struggled against, with Xavi. I'm just saying, sometimes you tweak around little certain things in the forward, in the middles. I mean, dude,
that wouldn't be bad because, like I said,
play with 3 center backs.
Yeah, play with 3 center backs because, I mean,
a 3-man defense.
To be honest, yeah, because. It sucks, bro, but Inigo Martinez left a huge gap in defense for Barca, and that sucks.
Whatever, it was just a thought. I was just thinking because I was like, you know what, when they used to play center back, he always preferred playing center back. I remember it was kind of hard for him to adjust to the right back position. He did, and then right now he's adjusted. But who knows? I mean, you have a versatile player that can play multiple positions. I think that sometimes you have, as a coach, maybe you should try to utilize that, especially given how many injuries you have, or whatever rocks are thrown at you at the moment. But whatever, it's just my thought. It's just kind of like how you said with Gerard Martin.
Yeah. I honestly, I mean, I don't think it'll be a bad idea because
he's played there before, right?
He's played there before, but the only thing that I would say is that where you put Garcia though.
I will put Garcia and Koundé together as center backs, bro, and then I think that you.
But that's the thing, though. I don't think Garcia is at his best in the left side, bro.
No, I'll put Koundé on the left side.
Oh, Koundé on the left side.
I want, bro. My priority, in my opinion, I'm not the coach, of course, but my priority in the center back position, I don't care what people say, is Kubarsi needs to be the leader.
That's what Xavi said. He said Kubarsi, and then after that we'll see.
Kubarsi, Pedri, Lamine Yamal, in my opinion, are 3 biggest
undisputable starters.
Yes,
they're
in their positions.
They're fit and on form. Yeah,
and then everything else, in my opinion, you got to transition around them. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad if you put him on the left side and then you put Kubarsi on the right, and then you put Araujo as a right back or Eddie Garcia as a right back.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't be bad because and I have said it before that Araujo does have the speed and the pace to be a right back.
Yeah,
he has it. So, and he has that where he's a workhorse. He's sloppy, but you can afford to be sloppy as a right back. But you can't afford to be sloppy as a center back. No. That's the problem.
Especially with the high line that Fleek wants to play.
Yeah. So that's the problem. So why not? And instead of you have that option, and then you have the option of putting Gerard Martin as well. You know, so there's certain things that he could probably try out that he hasn't tried to, for some reason. He's only tried putting Cobarci there. He's only tried putting Araujo there, but he hasn't tried. Surprisingly, he hasn't tried Gerard Martin there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I know you said that he did it for the friendly.
Yeah, and Koundé either. He hasn't tried putting him there either. Which. Why not? Koundé's also a center back. He can play there as well.
He played for France national team as a center back,
and for Sevilla too.
For
he played
Sevilla
as a center back. So yeah, why not? But we'll see what happens. But like I said, I think he's gonna start with Balde.
Okay.
And I think he's gonna go ahead and start with either Christensen or Edgar Garcias on the left side as a center back. And I think he's gonna put with Cobarci, and I think he's gonna go ahead and start with Koundé. I think he's gonna start. That's what I think he's gonna go with. But I wouldn't.
No.
I would just go with.
You'll give him a slap in the head.
I will, bro, because Koundé has been slacking out. Okay. So that's just me, But I'm not the coach. Who am I? But anyways, going to the middle, I guess we can go ahead and Pedri and the rest. But
yeah.
Pedri and De Jong are gonna start.
Yeah.
But Flick did do something that we've been asking him, not asking him, but we've been saying like, hey, why doesn't he do that? He started Pedri, Casado, and De Jong together in the middle, and that's something good, bro. Because I think that therein can lie Barca's future midfield, in my opinion. Because I think Olmo, in my opinion, bro.
Oh my god, yeah.
I think
it
Olmo,
sucks for Olmo, bro.
It sucks to say, but in my opinion, Olmo is just not cutting it, and he was not needed, and he's injury prone, and when he starts, he is no different than Fermin, in my opinion.
I think Fermin is better than Olmo right now. Bro.
Could even be better, yeah, because Fermin at least has more pace, pressures more, and runs a lot more.
And he shoots more.
That's true.
The box.
So. Unfortunately for us, we don't even miss Olmo, bro.
No.
That's just sad to say, but we don't even miss him. So, I would like to start seeing, for against Olympiacos, I want to see it again, bro. I want to see Casado, De Jong, and Pedri.
You think he starts with that middle?
I think he does.
Or do you think he starts with Fermin as a cam?
No, I think he starts with that middle, and I think if Fermin, he's going to go ahead and put him in if that doesn't work out. Because I think, bro, in my opinion, why not?
Yeah.
That should be kind of your midfield that you... And this is the first game that we saw it. In the first game, you're probably not gonna see it like shine, because obviously, they haven't played together. Have they ever played together?
No.
I don't remember when was
not like all three of them together.
Because even I remember in that Clásico, in last season's Clásico, he put Casado, he put Pedri, and then he put Fermin. He started Fermin, and then he put in De Jong. And remember when he put in De Jong, it was De Jong, Casado, and Pedri.
Yeah.
It shifted, bro.
I remember
it looked so good.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. Remember, I was like, if I were Flick, I would just take out Fermin and I would put De Jong in.
Yeah.
And he did that. And I don't know who played Cam. I think it was either Pedri or De Jong played Cam. I think it was De Jong. He put him as a Cam because against Girona, I think De Jong played Cam.
No, I think Pedri played Cam.
No, I think it was De Jong, bro. You saw De Jong in the final.
Oh yeah. I will put Pedri as a Cam.
Me too. I honestly would. I don't know why he doesn't put Pedri as a Cam. I don't know. I don't know.
De La Fuente does it in Spain.
De La Fuente does it. He probably. You think maybe it's just a coach ego?
I think it's probably. I think Fleek's is. I think no. I don't think it's a coach ego from Fleek. I think it's just. I think Fleek is. I think Fleek is just in love with the idea of how Pedri plays
coming back. But De Jong does good too, though.
I think so too.
So, if I were me, we both been saying it, right? If it were up to us, it'd be Casado, De Jong, and Pedri as a guy. That if it was up to us, and then if you want to during the game, hey Pedri, come back down. If De Jong go up, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think that's where it should be. So I hope against Olympiacos, I want to see it again, bro. I would like to see it again. Hopefully he doesn't change it, because then that's gonna send a message to Casado.
Yeah.
So I would hope that he goes and puts Casado, De Jong as pivots coming out from the back, or Pedri, and then either De Jong or Pedri as a cam.
Okay, and then up front.
Up front, Rafinha's not gonna be there, so it's gonna be Lamine Yamal. We did say, we mentioned that we expect more from Lamine Yamal, so I'm hoping that he also gives out a statement, and he gives a better face, heading into the Clásico, dude. Because if he doesn't give a good look in this game against Olympiacos, this is already the second game that he's starting, coming back from injury. And to be honest, bro, he's going to have a lot of negative attention.
That's what happens when you bring that negative attention to yourself, like we've been talking about.
Players like that, bro, who, burst into the scene, who have all the media attention in a positive manner, can also get it in a negative manner. And if you don't produce on the pitch, he's going to start getting a lot of criticism, right? And then he's going to feel a lot more pressure. So hopefully, bro, he has a good game against Olympiacos going into the Clásico.
Okay.
And then, as a number 9, I'll put Yeah,
I think he's gonna put Rashford as number 9.
Yeah, I think so. Is Ferran coming back though?
He might. Let's say if Ferran is back. If not, I think he could put Ferran as a number 9.
Honestly, who cares about Ferran, bro? That's true. Like, honestly, I'd rather have Araujo up there, bro.
For real, huh, bro. No expectations on dude.
I'd rather have Araujo up there, bro.
What do you? What do you actually put? I think that also I don't know if he's gonna do this, but I don't think it'll be a bad idea if Ferran is not back, right? Because I think Fleek does like Ferran. But if Ferran is not back, I don't think it'll be a bad idea to have Rashford as a number 9 and then as the Fermin on the left side.
That's true.
On the right side.
Yeah, that's true. Why not? Or yeah, that's true. You could try Fermin on that wing. He did put him there. I remember it was in the Clásico, the last Clásico.
Yeah, he did.
He put him there. And another thing that we said too. In my opinion, Barca's if everybody were to be fit, Barca's attack should be Rashford number 9, Lamine Yamal right winger, Rafinha left winger.
Yeah.
That should be, in my opinion, Barca's attack.
But you know what? I think I actually thought that's in the beginning of the season, bro. But I think as I've seen more of Rashford's games, I think that Rashford does play better as a winger, bro. Because I think he likes more the idea of being more on the ball than waiting for the ball to get to him.
That's true. Yeah.
So I think that Rashford does play better as a winger. So it is
maybe in some teams, like maybe against a PSG, against a City, where obviously those teams are not going to sit back. They're going to open up and it's going to be a back and forth game against Bayern. Maybe we could turn Rashford and they can still have a lot of space.
Yeah.
That's what. Because I'm surprised he didn't start Rashford as a number 9 against PSG. Remember, I told you, I was like, bro, he should start Rashford as number 9, not Ferran Torres. Against PSG, Lamine Yamal, and then was Rafinha playing against PSG? No, he wasn't. He was out. But he could have probably thrown in. I don't know. Maybe somebody at but Fermin was not out.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, that makes sense. So that's what he put Rashford over there. He put Ferran as a number 9. Makes sense.
Well, let's see what happens, dude. I mean, I like you said, I agree with you. I want to see what Barcelona does. Barcelona does against Olympiacos. Leading up to that Clásico is going to be important. We have the Clásico coming up as well. Fleek.
Yeah.
I want to see how Fleek can turn this around because Fleek has been getting some bad luck, and certain players haven't been performing. I think how they did last season, and injuries, of course, have been playing a big factor in Fleek's second season. So let's see what happens. I mean, you have anything else you want to say or?
No, that's it, dude. I think we covered everything that we were gonna talk about. We'll make another video about Real Madrid.
So we'll make another video about our thoughts about Real Madrid. We want to see what happens against after Olympiacos. How Barcelona, come into that game if they can build any confidence.
Because a lot could change.
Yeah,
a lot could change from here to the Clásico. It's 1 week.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens.